What is up guys, hello and welcome to this video. I'm currently working on an endless runner in 3D using Unity and I want to quickly share my progress I made this week. If you'd like to see more devlogs, please make sure to subscribe, leave me a like or let me know in the comments what you think. Since this is my very first commercial project, I also would very much appreciate any feedback, tips or ideas to improve the game. So, with not much further ado guys, let's jump straight into some gameplay footage to show you how the game looked on Monday before I started this week. As you can see, we already have a kind of a functioning endless runner up and running. We have a basic character controller implemented and the road and the side content like houses get respawned endlessly as we move through the level. What you see is the progress of about 2 weeks in development doing this besides my regular job. At the end of this video I will also show you some direct gameplay comparison before and after so that you can directly see the progress. Now, the next thing I wanted to tackle was adding an actual character model instead of the ball. I plan to have multiple character models to choose from which you can unlock by playing the game. They will have different values for speed, jump height, robustness and so on. I decided to go with animals, starting as a dog. As the thumbnail might have suggested, we will have different dogs in the game, but also other animals like horses, gorillas and so on. I plan to have at least 10 or so different player characters, maybe I will add some humans as well, but for the start I chose to go with some kind of an average mid-level dog, which will be a golden retriever. So I imported him from our assets and hooked up our character controller. Now as you can see, our very basic controller isn't quite enough to control this model at all, so I decided to work on that next and enhance and refactor our character controller so that we can move and turn and run appropriately like in an endless runner. I used a very basic generic character controller asset from the Unity asset store and adjusted the code a little bit so that it fits our role in an endless runner. I also disabled the camera rotation and the moving backwards by quickly playing around with the input system, and this is the result. We now have a much better and more fluently moving character, which will be enough for our endless runner. I have to admit that of course I would have been able to code this by myself, but also note I code this game as some kind of a side project besides my real job, and every hour I save by using some assets is a great deal for me. I would easily have worked a week or so to get a result as good as this with collision detection and all that kind of features it has. So I think we have a pretty good character controller now, but as you can see there are no animations yet, so I decided to tackle that next. I created a new animator controller and filled in all the states and variables I need to get this going. By the way guys, if you want to see some more detailed tutorials on setting up animations in Unity, just let me know in the comments. The assets I use for this dog doesn't come with the jump animation, so of course I could try to add one in Blender, but I decided to take it the quick and dirty route and just add some stuff in Unity. In this particular case I just used the run animation but in a much slower pace so that it looks kind of like a jump, and I think it looks pretty decent, at least for now. As you can see now, we have a fully animated and functional character running around our level. He can run, jump and is also turned a bit when he's moving to the left or to the right. Like I mentioned, I plan to have a character selection in the future, so of course we need to implement more of that, but for now I'm pretty happy with the result and that we are not playing as a ball anymore. Instead we have a character to play around with, and he's a good boy by the way. But as you also see here, stuff doesn't respawn anymore. So of course for the spawning I needed to move some of the code parts of my old character controller right to the new script and attach that to my player object. Done that, and as you can see now it's working properly again. It's also very smooth and has a nice feeling to it. Overall I'm pretty happy with the character movement and navigation now. Also I want to give some credit to the creator of this asset, Jan Ott. Very good job. It really works smooth and the code is well documented, well structured and is simply enhanceable because of the good documentation. For all of you that look for a very basic character controller you can build your own gameplay on top of, this asset is highly recommended. To round things up and to improve the visuals a bit more, I also added a Toon shader to my materials. To be more specific, I used Toon Colors Pro 2 from the asset store, and as you can see it's really easy to include in your game. I just select the materials and use Toon Colors Pro as a shader. And in my case I used the mobile version since I plan to release on Android and iOS, and that's it basically. As you see, the overall visuals are much toonier right now, and I think that looks great. The asset also comes with a ton of options to customize the look, and you can also build your own shader with an included generator. But I'm pretty satisfied with the result right now. I will most likely come back to this sometimes later in the development process, but I think we already have a pretty decent result. So guys, like promised, here is a quick before and after comparison of the gameplay from the beginning of this week until now. Here you can see how the game looked when I started working on it this week. And that's how it looks now. I managed to include my first player model, and I also adjusted his animation. I also imported and set up a more advanced character controller and also adjusted the code to fit its requirements for an Endless Runner. Also, I added a Toon shader, and I think the result looks pretty decent so far. And that's it for today's update on the progress of the Endless Runner. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If so, I would pretty much appreciate if you leave us a like or share your feedback. Also, make sure to subscribe to this channel to stay updated. We'll release 2 videos every week to keep you on track. Next up, I will create some code to spawn some content on the road, like obstacles to avoid and some collectibles, so stay tuned for the next episode. But for today, I guess it's time to chill, grab a coffee and finish my to-dos for my regular job today. So guys, have a good time, stay healthy and see you in the next video. Bye bye.